You're listening to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, and co-host, Keelan Harvey on Alternative Talk, AM 1150. Now, back to the show with local mortgage experts, Tina Mitchell and Keelan Harvey.
You are listening to The Money Hour at 1150 AM KKNW, the Friday, September 18th virtual show. Because of COVID-19, our show is temporarily moved virtually. You can also listen to our show on podcast or on air at Saturday at 3 p.m. with a rebroadcast on Sunday at 8 a.m. I am your host, Tina Mitchell.
And I'm your co-host, Keelan Harvey.
It is a great day to talk about money, and that's what the show is all about, how to make money, save money, so you can have a better quality of life for you and your family. If you're listening to our show at a different time or day, you are listening to a rebroadcast. We're here to answer any questions or connect you with the guests that we have on the show. Please call the show at 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com. And now on our show, we have Jerry Tuisl of Southwestern Coaching. Grow your sales by 25% by hiring a coach right here on 1150 AM KKNW. Jerry, welcome to our show. Really excited to have you today.
Thank you for having me. Excited to be here.
And a little bit about Jerry before we get into our conversation with him. Jerry is a professional sales and leadership coach with Southwestern Counseling. He has seen success in business and management through a variety of industries, including technology, education, business to business, and direct sales. He holds an MBA from Keller Graduate School. Jerry spent more than 20 years as a recruiter, sales leader, and manager in the Midwest and Pacific Northwest, achieving President's Club as both producer and manager. As a believer in servant leadership and encouraging others to achieve their goals, Jerry believes it's important to take your work and the work of others seriously, while not forgetting to laugh at yourself along the way. Jerry, his wife, Julie, and their two dogs live in their log home, which I'm sure you can tell in his background on his Zoom background, 6 acres in Cleellum, Washington.
Yeah. Sounds awesome, Jerry. I managed to get to Monroe in 3 acres, and land is cool. I'm digging that. So I've been doing sales since I was, 15 years old. I started doing it like express in the mall, doing clothes. And then I got commission for selling credit cards. And I was like, ooh, I love commission. So that's when I caught the bug of sales. And so my question would be, for a veteran like myself in the field of sales, why hire a business or sales coach?
Yeah, this is a common question, and thank you for asking. I think all of us in sales, and I know everyone on this podcast and probably all of your listeners, believe in, a growth mindset, and having the growth mindset that you never really arrive. You just try to get better and better at what we do. So what a business or sales coach can do, and what we do at Southwestern, is just help you see your blind spots. And we all have them, right? Areas that we can't see where you need to grow. So what a coach will do is just help you see those blind spots, sort of diagnosed, if you will, and help you get through those things. It's essentially working smarter and not harder.
Yeah, great advice. And it's so true, Jerry. I love your title for today's conversation, grow yourself by 25% by hiring a coach. And I think that's actually a really conservative number, because if you're all in with your coach, you're going to have even a higher increase than 25%. I would definitely not be where I am today if not for my first coach. However, if I didn't pick one of the best of the best, I would have not seen the results that I've had over the last quarter of a century in the multiple businesses that I run. So there are so many coaches that you can choose from. We invited you, Jerry, because you're definitely one of the best of the best. And how does the connection to Southwestern make your approach unique?
Yeah, thank you for asking. So a couple things at Southwestern. I'm part of Southwestern Coaching, which is one of about 20 sister companies. The umbrella is a Southwestern company, and the Southwestern company actually goes back 160 years, and they were one of the first direct sales, door-to-door sales companies. So we've trained over 250,000 people in those 160 years. So we've learned what works in the world of selling, sort of the science behind sales, if you will. So we actually, about 15 years ago, then created our coaching division, which I'm a part of. And we actually created it in the area for B2B to coach various industries. So, but our frameworks of what the content area we coach on goes back in proven method through coaching and leading and recruiting 250,000 salespeople.
Wow. Well, Jerry, what do you focus on as far as industries and the industries that you serve? What type of industries or businesses do you typically serve?
Sure. And I always put a hesitate in answering this question because I don't want ever people to think, oh, he didn't mention my industry, of course. But the industries where coaching is really accepted, quite honestly, is mortgage, as you both know, and real estate, insurance, financial planning, direct sales. And just because those industries have primarily embraced coaching. But that said, I'm also coaching a dentist currently who's rapidly growing in Issaquah, as well as an attorney. So it's really for anyone who wants to take their business or their production to the next level and doesn't want to do that on their own.
Yeah, and I think it's so true. There are industries that are more encouraging around coaching, but like you said, every industry needs to, every person that's in business needs to have a coach, somebody to be accountable for. And like you said earlier, to look for those blind spots, because it's hard to see the areas that we need work on. We're so involved in the moment and we don't have the opportunity to take that step back. So as a coach myself, there's a lot in developing yourself and a platform that you can coach at a very high level. So what does it take to be a successful coach in your mind, Jerry?
So to be a successful coach or to be successful in coaching, either way, to be a successful coach, it's really taking your experience and being able to apply it. And that's what's great about utilizing Southwestern is I have more than 20 years experience in management and sales, and we're able to apply our current experience, our experience as coaches to the content that Southwestern provides. But as a client of ours, the three kind of areas that we focus on to be successful, it's really around being coachable. And specifically, this is for clients on how to get the most out of coaching. It's being coachable, which sounds obvious. You get into coaching to be coachable, but not everybody really wants to change, right? So being actually coachable. Our program is actually a 12-month program, and so we ask them to be committed for a period of 12 months. And the reason is we believe in changing habits and being accountable, and that doesn't typically happen, overnight. Not to mention everyone's business typically has seasons, right? So first quarter is different than third quarter, or the holidays might be different than the summer, for example. So we're looking for long established, sustainable change. So it's being coachable, being committed. And then the third area is being willing to change. A lot of people say they want to change, but it's actually being willing to change in sort of their approach and tracking different activities and whatnot. So those are three areas that really are areas what it takes to be successful in coaching, I would say.
Yeah, and I think when you're finding a coach, just like you said, Jerry, for you want a coach that's been successful in their own space. They've already been at the top because they know how to do it, and really important. And yeah, a lot of the change is just around habit. You have to really have somebody there to force you to create the better habits that are going to serve you at a higher level.
Absolutely.
So Jerry, how does the coaching work, and what kind of expectations would you set up for people as far as like a time commitment for calls or just time in general to really see a difference with their careers?
Yeah, so we measure this, and this is pretty common in our industry, but coaching calls, we'd either do them via Zoom or actual calls. They're every other week, and they're about 45 to 50 minutes roughly per call. And as we're coaches, I'm available outside of those hours as well via text or call or emails or whatnot. We pepper in kind of videos on the topics that we're currently talking about every other day in between those 2 weeks. And then we actually have action items, which is also something typical in coaching. In between calls, there's an expectation that you get certain areas done. And that's where we say kind of the rubber meets the road, if you will. That's where the change happens, because you're applying the things that you talk about with your coach in your business. And then when you come back to that next week, we talk about those action items, what worked, what didn't work, and what you learned from it. So I would say about maybe 30 to 60 minutes outside of your actual coaching time or time that someone would need for their action items. It's typically not a time commitment. It's more of, something that's necessary in order to make change happen.
Yeah, and just make sure that you time block in your calendar those times that you're going to be doing the homework that you have to maximize that coaching. So Jerry, in the mortgage industry and a lot of other industries, the industry you mentioned the most common around coaching, they actually have access to people internally within the company that have coaching programs. Why do you want to hire someone external or outside of your business? Can you talk about the benefit of that?
Yes. And this is a great one. And we work great and mesh well with people who have internal managers or coaches filling a role there. Typically, someone's going to sort of reveal more or convey more about their true speed bumps or challenges or fears, if you will, to someone outside their bubble than they will someone inside their bubble. And what we find is not only is a coach be able to ask the right questions, because that's our business, is to be able to understand, ask the right questions, but help them then overcome those fears, overcome certain areas that they typically aren't going to be, completely transparent on with someone inside their bubble so much.
And Jerry, I was thinking, I think you sell every day, all the time. You're constantly selling yourself, and you don't realize that. And it is so impactful in every little piece of your life. I mean, just on your relationships even. I mean, if you're knowledgeable in sales, you can just improve your life across the board. So, I mean, that's just the love that I have for it. I'd love to get your feedback, though, on the people that you think that excel in the coaching role. So like producers or managers or like a hybrid position, non-producers. Where do you see these kind of successes as far as coaching goes?
Really, Keelan, I would say it'd be all of the above. It really comes back to the individual. And if they're at a point where they're really coachable, they will get some value out of coaching. Obviously, someone who's a producer, someone who's a manager, who's responsible for both managing and producing, there's a ton of areas that we cover with those people because they're spread rather thin on managing and producing. But we also coach people who are non-producers, and they have responsibilities, and we want those responsibilities to become accountabilities. So it's going to be a variety of roles. It comes back to the individual need, and we tailor to those needs.
I love how you always go back to coachability, because as salespeople, we have egos, and you have to get out of your own way and put your ego down for a minute to know what works. And, when I started doing that in my life, and I even did that with Tina when I started being teammates with her, it's like I'm coming in here thinking I'm the man. Tina's taught me so much, and I came into that mindset of like, okay, I'm just gonna absorb and just suck it in and just get out of my own way. So how valuable is that? That's a great point that you continue to bring up.
Yeah, absolutely. It's coachable is everything. So
I think we lost Tina here. We were switching back and forth on on questions here, but I hate to say, Jerry, we're down to 1 minute already. Time flies. So what size of companies do you work with? And actually, even more important, why do you do what you do?
I love it. We work with really kind of companies who are solo entrepreneurs. They're one-person shows, and so I love working with those people, up to companies that are part of a branch or even part of a corporate team. I'm coaching someone from Nike right now, so I mean it can vary. So really, size does not matter in that aspect. I love what I do because I just love seeing people grow. I love seeing people push themselves, and just to be a small part of the catalyst in their life to help them kind of change their life or change their business. It's something I've always loved to do. So that's why I do what I do.
Love it.
Wow. Well, good thing about having a co-host there. I missed out on my most favorite question. Couldn't hear anything that was going on, but I'm sure we wrapped up Jerry's time with his why behind what he does. When you call in, sometimes you just randomly get disconnected. So isn't Zoom fun? Well, Jerry, thank you so much for joining us in studio. It was a pleasure having a conversation with you, and look forward to staying connected and chatting in the near future.
Thank you. Thank you for doing everything you both do, too.
Absolutely. Coming up next on the Money Hour, how to make your own ultimate home gym for just $40, requiring no space. TJ Glasley of X Gym right here on 1150 AM KKNW.